I don't think so.
Big weekend coming up. I got to go to Chicago and Wisconsin.
Chicago.
Chicago.
One more, right? Is it 3 things?
Wisconsin 2 nights. Chicago Thursday night, Friday night, Wisconsin, Saturday night, Wisconsin. And then I'm doing this thing at a pizza place.
What?
My friend has a pizza place, and I got to go in and make a pizza.
For what?
I don't know. I agreed to do it. You ever, I don't know.
It's for like TV or something?
No, it's for his. I don't know.
Promo.
I'm gonna go make a bob pie.
A Bob
pie. I don't know.
That's part of the weekend?
Yeah, I gotta go there. Oh, I'm doing the roast battle too. I'm judging the roast battle, which is pretty fun.
Where's that?
I believe
Chicago?
that's in Milwaukee, whatever, Wisconsin. Yeah, Milwaukee. So
Listen,
after
can
my
you bring
show.
up the apps because Bobby's not killing it with what he's doing this weekend.
Yeah. I got to tell you this.
He's like, I'm here and there. Got a couple things. I'll tell you where you're going to be.
What's up, buddy?
I'll tell you where you're going to be, Robert. Chicago, January 18th. Wisconsin, January 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wisconsin on January 19th. And on the 20th, he'll be in Germantown and Glendale.
Yeah, Germantown, Glendale. There you go. And then extra show added Comedy Connection.
Extra show added the Comedy
Sunday,
Connection.
6:30.
6:30 show? Nice.
6:30.
For tickets and all tour dates, go to robertkellylive.com. Our guest...
Yes.
Everybody. Our guest this Saturday is going to be at the Churchville Inn in Southampton, PA. Everybody, it's a long time coming to have him on the show. My good buddy, Richie Redding in the house.
Yeah, dude.
What's up, buddy?
Man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
I got an email, or a DM, is that what the kids are calling them? DMs, from somebody who wants to be in the spokesmodel running.
We should fill Richie in on what's going on.
Yeah, we have a Bonfire spokesmodel, and we have a Lynn is our OG forever spokesmodel, but we threw it out there. Maybe everybody gets their own spokesmodel. So you can anybody who's a camper can throw out dicks and whoever. You can be a guy, a girl, both, he, she, they, it.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Send in your pictures, and we're going over them.
And what do you judge on? What's the criteria?
Mostly dicks.
Just whatever her dick looks like.
We judge. We judge on.
Well, we don't know the personalities yet. Right now, we're just going by pictures.
Yeah, we're going by
pictures,
pictures.
dicks, and puss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's some puss in here, Rich. Don't worry. You're probably going to see some pussy in these pictures today.
Yeah.
But I hope you're ready for a lot of dicks.
Yeah, I feel like the dicks are usually a little more forthcoming.
They are more forthcoming. Yeah. I don't want this to hurt your future with Katt Williams, but I understand if you say you hate all of these.
I heard you been on the internet judging dicks again. I ain't never done nothing with looking at no penis.
You can look at a dick, but if you put a dress on and do it, you're done.
It's fun. Richie worked with Katt for a couple on
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, on doing like the big arena tours with him.
How was that?
It was crazy, dude. I mean, it was the way that it came about was so nuts because it was like I basically just had to like prove myself for like 15 shows in a row.
Where did he see you? How did you get into his atmosphere?
I mean, it's a long story, but I had when I was 6 months in, Javon Pearson got me on a show at the Robin Hood Del East, which became known as the Free Beanie Siegel concert.
Yeah, it was to give you it's a Philly Black Circuit comedy thing.
And I got booed off stage by 4,000 black people, all at the same time. They didn't do it one at a time.
What did you say? White power?
I said the N-word one time. No, I mean, dude, before I got to the mic, they started booing me. And the host brought me up as, he was like, I was in between Memphis Bleak and Joe Budden. It was a gangster rap concert. The host brings me up and goes, this next guy just started doing comedy. He graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. You might as well say, here's Whitey.
He was the captain of the crew team, which I believe is true.
It is not untrue.
The captain of the crew team? Yes. What the fuck is crew? Is that the row?
The rowing, you white trash. You lived in Boston.
We used to throw rocks at those fucking sissies.
Didn't know you were Puerto Rican. And so they start booing me like before I could even get near the mic. But the fun part was that before I went out, the reason I was on the show was that my unemployment had just run out, and I found out that a couple of days before this that I'm out of money. My girlfriend is coming back from Germany and expects me to be able to pay my end of the rent, and I've had Javon staying with me for like a week.
Really?
So he hustles this thing up, and he's like, "Hey, I can get you like $500 for this show," which is like my rent in Philly at that time. Mm-hmm. So right before I go out, the promoter, who's clearly a drug dealer, pulls me aside. He's like, "Yo, I don't know how they do it at your white boy shows, but around here, you don't do all your time, you don't get all your money." So it's like, oh shit.
I know those rules.
Which basically means I know I'm not going to pay you for this. Right? Like, he knows the situation. Like, you are not getting paid for this. So go out, and immediately, like, they're booing me. I look right into the lights, right? So it's like that aircraft landing light that they have for the big ass. So I'm blind. I just start like randomly throwing out black insults at people that I can't see.
Like what? Like what? Like what kind of like Keith Robinson black insults? Oh, Nick DiPaolo black insults.
No.
There's a variation of black insults.
Well, that was the beauty of starting that black circuit. You were ready with like a handful of those. Like your roaches got names, and you got all this whatever. Just like the most like blanket statement. Yeah.
It looks like a titty is making sure nobody steals your feet. Like that, that kind of dumb shit. Yeah.
I like that.
And,
No, they're all funny.
So that shuts them up. Like I did like a minute of that. That shuts them up, and I got like 5 minutes off of new guy. 6 months in comedy, and somebody in the back was like, I was having more fun when I was booing. I'm going to boo again. And somebody else was like, I'm going to join you. So it just turns into this. It took like a full minute and a half, and this tidal wave builds up, and it's just boom. Like, and for the last minute and a half, I just sat there while they were booing me, and like the DJ's cutting and shit like that. But I'm staying on for 10 minutes to make sure
get the money.
Yeah, like I have to get paid. And I go off, and the promoter's like, yeah, that shit wasn't real solid, dog. It's like, we didn't discuss quality.
That wasn't the real?
Yeah, this was a quantity gig. And so
that's the worst thing about black shows. They have the DJ just
when the DJ turns on you, you don't have a shot. You don't have a shot. Didn't you come with us? Didn't you come with us to that after I did your show? That when me and Soder came down and did your show, and we went to the Sugar Bear.
I am somehow connected to the founding of
the Bonfire. Yeah. But did you go with us to the Sugar Bear show?
Oh yeah.
And so that was the idea. The DJ just when he introduced me to come on stage, the host, the late Sugar Bear, I went on stage and the DJ just didn't stop playing the music. And then, the point where I started giving like the, kind of thing, and he's not doing, so I look over and I almost go over and I make a thing where I'm like, what's wrong? And then he just like finally like stops it. But he played it for like 40 seconds of me being on the stage and I was like, all right, this is a weird thing. And then I just, I started asking a girl in the front dirty questions, and then her stepmother stood up in the back of the room who looked like Peppa from Salt and Peppa, and she was.
I love the way you say Peppa.
The old Peppa,
like Peppa Pig.
Peppa.
The old Peppa.
Peppa.
Well, her name wasn't Pepper; it was Salt and Peppa.
Peppa.
But she had like the half gold hair and outline and gold teeth outlines.
She had Steven Singer hair. Hey, don't forget this Valentine's Day. Get your hair dipped.
I hate Steven Singer. Gold dipped hair coming to you by Mama Watkins.
If you're a sister with a mister.
It's water right in front of you.
Oh,
yep,
I thought this was somebody else's coffee.
So they, when they, so this lady started going, and I was, kind of started like insulting her a little bit, like at her, and she goes, "You better watch your mouth." She was so serious. She goes, "You better watch your mouth, motherfucker, or you ain't gonna get paid." And I go, "Get paid by who?" He goes, "My husband, her father," who's the promoter of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, everybody's related at a black show too. That's my cousin.
The only saving grace I'll say from that show, the saving grace, because it was so bad. And then Sugar Bear went up and like he started sort of like semi-insulting me. So then I went back on stage and kind of insulted. It was such a weird. And then when I was leaving, though, I will say the only saving grace of the place was walking out. The guy who ran the show, whose daughter I was fucking with, and the wife, he was like apologetic. He kind of got it to some degree. He was like, "Dude, I hope you'll come back." And I'm sorry, that just went kind of haywire. But he was actually pretty nice.
Did you go back?
Rare. No. Sugar Bear died of what? The sugars.
Yeah, dude, Sugar Bear dying of sugar is like little Xanax dying from a little Xanax. It was right there.
Sugar Bear died from sugar, I believe.
But these days are worse because you're on stage bombing and you hear zicka zicka.
Oh,
yeah. It's like, come on. Yeah.
Well, I said that Crazy Sam guy at the Uptown Comedy store show that used to happen up in Harlem. That was they played the DJ just started playing the music on me after I told the crowd like I don't give a fuck if you laugh. I already got paid, which was a lie. I didn't get paid yet. And they played the music on me. And that guy Crazy Sam, I remember when he shook my hand while the music's still playing, and he came and shook my hand. And he goes, "Don't worry about it, man. It happens, dude. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Oh."
Was the money in the handshake?
No, I never got the money. That night was me, Dorian Noel, and Kurt Metzger getting intimidated into leaving. But they go, "Smiley will not be paying you tonight." Her name was Smiley, who was supposed to pay me. It's because you didn't do very good. And it was just what could we do? But I remember when I was walking off stage and that guy Crazy Sam, who's like, a big personality, he's like, "Don't worry about it, big man. Shit happens, dude. It ain't no big deal." And then I go backstage and he gets on the microphone and he goes, "If that motherfucker gets paid, I'm whooping somebody's ass." Crazy Sam, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, and you could probably, I don't know.
Our paths not cross, me and Crazy Sam.
You know Crazy Sam? Oh,
no.
You may have heard this story, dude. At one point when he was like down on his luck, apparently he just robbed the Uptown Comedy Store. Like he was hosting the show, and then gunpoint robbed the audience. Like he made them all take their money, and then he left for like a year and didn't come back. He just robbed the audience. I think he gunpoint robbed the audience of his own show, his weekly show.
That's hilarious.
And then stopped doing the show for a while. I think it was so weird, dude.
For a while.
I think he popped back up, Crazy Sam.
It cooled down.
So so you do the show.
Yeah.
So how does he meet you?
So I told Toure that story 10 years later, and
Toure Gordon was like the first mentor of everybody in Philly black comedy scene.
And I love Toure, but he's loud as shit. He was at Keith's special.
Oh yeah.
Every time Keith did a joke, that's the Godfather. That's him.
Well, he took over for Derek Gaines, who was doing it on the first taping show.
Oh, was he?
Yup.
Yep.
Guess what? Tell him, Keith.
That's it. Preach it. It's like, I did it. They're filming this.
Hey, we know you're Baptist.
You're actually making some white little nerd editor's life miserable.
Right, try to make that consistent.
Yeah.
But so I told Tu that story, and like a week later he called me. He was like, "Hey, the Dell is looking for a comic again," and it was like it was some like jazz band or something. So it was really easy. 2 other guys bombed. I knew what I was doing at this point. Do really well in that show, and that guy was like, "Hey, we'll get you back on something," you know. And it's like for like 3 years, every time I was ready to commit comedy suicide and didn't have anything on the books, I would hit that guy like, "Hey, I'm still alive." And after 3 years,
you went open for the Temptations.
It was Thursday at like 11 p.m. and he's like, "Hey, you want to open for Katt Williams tomorrow at the Leah Cordes Center at 7?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely." Right. So when I go on, he's not there yet. And I had what at that time was like the best set that I've ever had. Wow. And so I'm super pumped, right? It was the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of.
Is it a theater?
It's 7,000 person arena.
7,000
I heard you did good. I was having pizza.
So, yeah, but I came off with being jazzed about killing that, but like, fuck, he didn't see it, you know? And I'm going to the locker room because you're like in the Temple's arena basically. And out from the shadows steps a dude in a fur coat, purple suit, gold glasses, fucking hat, the whole nine. Like, "Young man, that was absolutely stupendous." I'm like, "Yo, thank you so much." And he gives me a handshake and like
he throws you on the back of a motorcycle like Prince. You went to a lake, soft kissed.
Oh, you romantic.
Richie got purple rain.
Get on my motorcycle.
It's Richie's good-looking boyish face has caused him more troubles from men trying to have sex with him.
Morris Day was there for some reason.
I'm going to introduce you to my abusive daddy.
But so, and I forgot this part of it. That like,
This is what it sounds like when the doves cry.
now take those tatty whities off. I don't like them.
Listen to them cry.
Jump in the lake, clean yourself, boy.
So yeah, and this is another point in my life where I'm just fucking broke, right? And that handshake that he gives me, it was like, holy shit! Like, there's a lot of money in this handshake.
He gave you a chunk of cash.
So yeah, so I was supposed to
He gets paid like in a duffel bag of cash.
So I was supposed to get $500 for the opening, and I'm like, I'm playing it cool as I put it away, and I say to him, I was like, "Dude, I'd love to work with you again." He's like, "I'll have you on the road, and that's my word," and walk away, and he put 8 times more than I was supposed to get paid in that handshake.
Can you give me the number?
What?
What was the number?
Do you not know what 5 times 8 is?
What was it? 8? No, how much did you get paid?
4,000.
Oh, you got 4,000. I didn't know how much you were supposed to get paid.
Yeah,
He said
I was
500
supposed to get
500.
500.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
And the craziest part being that
I don't like that you fucking nerded me out on that.
Yeah, he challenged you to math. You can't do math, you dumb shit.
I get it. You went to college.
That's that Philly Boston stress.
you froze up too.
Yeah, but
You were fucking caught in the lights.
When he did say you can't do 8 times 5, and you went,
Jay threw you a bone.
I mean, this fucking cocksucker did a math nerd test on me. I'm just trying to help propel your story.
He went to the University of Pennsylvania, Bobby.
I'm sorry. I went to Bunker Hill Community College for fine art, Jay.
You come from the state of colleges.
By the way, Bobby gave me one of the greatest insults ever one time. That you were just like walking away. We were on the street, and you're like, "You got a young body and an old head." I've thought about it once a week for the last 3 years.
I'm sorry, dude. You know what? I deserve that math joke.
I'll just be looking in the mirror like, fucking old head. There's nothing I can do about this old head.
The young body.
My Mr. Burns body.
So it's true what he says about himself.
He's insanely generous.
He's insanely generous. Wow.
And then
I think those stories, I think he takes care of like 7 kids in his house. I think it was more at one point.
Yeah.
All adopted.
Yeah, he just adopts like wayward kids, and then he just goes out and freaks out and like fights a teenager in a projects one day. He's got a lot going on.
That kid started that.
And you know what else?
You got to watch the whole video.
He finished it.
Apparently. Yeah, I don't know who started it, but that kid did finish it.
Yo, me little boy. This is what happened. You let a little boy do this to the celebrity.
Whose baby is this? Whose baby is this? That's what he actually said.
Where's your mama?
So, and then, like I said, I had to like prove myself every time. So it turns into this thing where like a month later, again, it's midnight, and they're like, "Hey, can you be in Washington D.C. at 7 tomorrow?" And it's like, absolutely,
fuck it.
and do the the Dar Constitution Hall, and they're like, "Yeah, it's 3 shows. You're only on the first night," and then the first one goes really well, and they're like, "Hey, if he wants to, are you available to do tomorrow also?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They're like, the problem is we got another guy booked to do these next 2 shows. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that guy. They get this guy on the phone, like, in front of me, like, yeah, so Katt found somebody else. So, yeah, I know. We really owe you. I'm sorry. And the guy's, like, giving me this look like I'm supposed to be bad. Like, fuck that guy. I don't care about him.
That guy was Stavros Halkias.
Doesn't say Gary Owen.
So it was basically that kind of scenario for, like, a month and a half of, like, getting these. And
you get, like, half they'll run, and then you get the added on.
Yeah, well, just these last minute calls,
Yeah.
and then it's like, we're in Mississippi. Hey, can you go to Arkansas tomorrow? Like, yeah, I'm along for this ride.
Was he giving you? But did he go? Like, here's the thing. Like, he paid you that much money, right? Did he go back to the original, like 500, or did he just say? And did he keep giving you that?
There was a handshake every weekend was like, holy shit.
Wow. Did it get bigger and bigger, or the same?
I mean, it fluctuated.
Wow.
Yeah, it went
great,
crazy
though.
up and down.
I love that.
So and the everybody, I wasn't on the tour, and there was people that were like on the tour. And I'm getting to know all of them, and they're like, he likes you. You just got to ask him. Like, just find a way to ask him. You know, if you can be on for real. And I created a situation where I could talk to him. He's like, I owe you some verbiage. I'm going to call you. I'm like, okay, cool. So
What a fucking weird world.
Such
to
a
be in.
character.
such a
I
weird
owe you
world.
verbiage.
Yeah.
He's
So,
a character.
I'm gonna
man.
use that. I'm gonna start using that.
Your verbiage.
I'm gonna wake up to dawn. I owe you verbiage. I'll hit you up at noon in the kitchen.
For the verbiage.
Make some eggs, and I will give you a verbiage.
I will pontificate upon a point or two. Joe Rogan don't want me on there.
and then the call that next Thursday doesn't happen. So I'm like, I'm off the tour because there's a show Friday.
Yeah.
I get a call at like 5 a.m. And I pick up. It's an unknown number. And he's like,
Hi, Richie. This is Katt Williams. I was expecting to leave you a voicemail. Can you come to Texas?
I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, okay. And I get an email that I've got like another first class flight to Texas that I've got to catch in like 3 hours.
They give you-
Always first class.
Wow.
Yeah, always first class.
That's awesome, man.
So now there's actually a real situation where it's me and him alone, and I was like, Katt, like, can I be on tour with you? He's like, do you want to be on tour? I was like, yeah, obviously, absolutely. He's like, you already know you're on the tour. I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah,
Like,
I know weekly.
I was like, you were supposed to call me, but we never talked. He's like,
Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to leave you a message that you would have for the rest of your life, but you fucked it up. Yeah, you're on the tour.
and that was it. And then I wound up doing like 160 shows with him.
So he really does that many shows a year.
It was over 3 years.
Okay, but does he tour? Were you on every show, or just like a chunk of it, and then takes time off, or?
I wound up getting picked up on like the back half of 2 tours.
And is it
And then
different?
One of them was like a 90-city tour.
90 cities, first
Yeah.
class,
Yeah.
hotel, first
You doing
class.
buses?
Some bus. Yeah.
I love the bus.
Yeah.
The bus
Dude,
is fun.
The funniest.
Although I don't know about a bus with late night bus with Katt Williams might be interesting.
I would love that. Everybody has fur coats,
Yeah,
fucking
dude,
robes.
So I was just okay. So this is what we're in Milwaukee, and this weird dude, this white guy that I'd seen around before. He's his fur guy. Is on the bus, right?
Nice.
And we
fur
you know,
guy. I fucking do it,
Do you guys
dude.
not have a furrier?
I'm between furriers right now.
I didn't even know it was called
But
a furrier.
I just picked up a fine haberdasher.
Furrier. It's so ridiculous. It's so absurd that there's an actual person in the world in 2024 that's a furrier. But yeah, so this dude, this weirdo, and his wife are hanging out on the bus forever, and I'm sober, so like I'm trying to avoid smoke, like I'm just like I'm by the window,
Yeah.
and we had
It's like
to
doing
leave.
skanks.
Yeah, right. We had to leave. We're just hanging out in the parking lot. We had to leave at like 6 a.m. It gets to like 4 o'clock, and I was finally like, "Fuck it, I need to sleep." Like I'm not smoking weed. I'm not partying with these guys. I need sleep. So I go and get 2 hours of sleep. I come back down for the 6 o'clock push off, and as soon as the bus door opens, the bus driver is in a full-length fur coat. and I see the opening comic, the guy that goes on before the MC comes out is rocking a mink. There's a security guy that's got a big Bolshevik fucking big white stole on and shit. Like one guy had the King of Mufasa, the Zamunda, and it's 6 a.m. Like,
He had a freshly killed tiger on his shoulders
with the head.
and ruby eyes.
I come on.
Hey,
and
King Jeffrey Joffer, do you know where the bathroom is in this venue?
and everybody is stoned to the gills, right? It was just like 2 more hours of everybody smoking that level of weed, and they're all in like super slow motion. I'm just like, what the fuck happened in here? They're like, we got gifts, bro. You should have stuck around.
It was a fur explosion.
You get a fur. He gets a fur.
Everybody gets a fur, and no one asks questions.
Give that man pumping the gas a fur.
Have you considered fur pants? It's the ultimate luxury.
What a great person to get linked up. Look, I mean that's one of the biggest things I always say when I tell my story. It's between Bobby, you, Patrice a little bit, and then a tell take me on the road. So I find the person to
I took you to Wendy's.
Took me to Wendy's.
I took you to Wendy's and you slept at my house on my couch.
I did in a chair, sitting up in a chair.
Ah, fuck! I'm so sorry.
No,
I should have got you fur, Jay.
Look, did we get furs? No. Did we get hot chocolate with marshmallows? Absolutely.
Dude, I've thought so many times of could you imagine if I come home in a fur coat?
Dude. I'm surprised. Can I tell you something? I'm proud of you for not, because I'll tell you, I went on that corn tour. You get away. Well, you know what it is? Here's why. You weren't away from comedy. You were still around comedy and ball busting on that thing. When I was out with those bands, you lose sight of that. And just the day I remember coming into the city for the first time after those tours and being like, my nose is freshly pierced and I'm wearing knuckle gloves. This is probably going to be a thing down at the Comedy Cellar.
It was.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was.
I know. What the fuck are you coming back from? I goes, guys, I was just on tour with Corn for 3 months. Like, what?
That's like when Patrice got into his suit phase. And he walked in. We were like, what?
From jerseys. Immediately from jerseys to fucking.
He walked into the cellar one night. We were like, do you have your own barbecue sauce? Why are you dressed like that, you fucking idiot?
The Steve Harvey collection.
What are you doing?
So funny.
So you're on tour with this guy and you're performing in front of black crowds.
Yeah.
And thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a bad night, or was it all you just figured out how to do it?
I mean, I started out doing that, and it was like 15 to 20 minute sets, so it was just go out and throw fastballs.
How many people were on that show before him?
Dude, that show was Red Grant, Zooman Miller, me, then Mark Curry.
Wow.
So it would be, and he'd be like, everybody.
That's an interesting group.
Everybody go and do 20, 25.
Mark Curry went on before him?
Dude, he's such a fucking hammer.
Mark Curry?
Yeah.
Mark Curry's also, was that after his accident? Because he had a bad burn accident.
I think
Mark
it was well
Curry.
after that. Yeah.
But he,
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
Burned.
Mark Curry was burned. Yeah, badly in a thing. But
I mean, says something about a comic. I mean, I have Danny Braff and Joe Russell and Mike Suarez going before me.
Well, they have.
And keep it tight.
Yeah.
6 minutes each.
No one's doing 20.
And no fat joke, Suarez. He didn't give a shit, though. He just, fuck it.
No, it wouldn't matter. He was also, when you're that big at that point, dude, it doesn't matter. You know, I thought that was interesting with Dane Cook when, he brought me into this isn't even an insult. I just thought it was interesting. When I did my first set opening for him, I cursed. And he took me into the back room of Caroline's.
Oh, you got the back room?
And he just goes, or the green room, whatever. And he goes, hey, man, I want you to do the weekend, but I need you to be squeaky clean. He told me after the first show, and I was like, oh.
Squeaky.
I was like, okay, they didn't tell me that at the club, so okay. I was like, what? Why? And he goes, dude, it's just I curse, so it's like if you're cursing, then I'm cursing. It's just too much. And I was like, buddy, when you go on stage, they would literally step over me to my death to get to you. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, they don't care. It's an interesting thing I always found. People who don't have that kind of concern or oh, they're gonna blow everything.
Well, that's the thing.
Me,
personally, I got a Breitling watch, my first watch. Mm-hmm. It's a big Breitling of Super Avengers. I got made fun of it. It was so big and gaudy, but I loved it. And he went and bought the same watch.
Oh, really?
Same exact watch. And then one night we were going on stage. He's like, hey, man, can you not wear your watch? And I went, what? He's like, well, I don't want to. People are going to see us with the same watch. I'm like, it doesn't. Nobody cares.
And you had it first.
It's my watch. Yeah.
It's my watch.
Yeah.
That's such what a great.
It's weird thing.
Richie,
I'm wearing jeans. You mind taking those off?
Dude,
well, it's a mental thing.
Richie's mentor. Talk about a leap jump though from where it was, because as he just told you before, he's got Javon Pearson staying in his house, who I think went to jail for pedophilia.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Or as he said, taxes.
Pussy tax.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was fucking an underage girl.
Yeah, so you have to go around and knock on every door in the neighborhood for those taxes.
Hey, my name's Javon Pearson, and I've had some tax troubles in the past.
Yeah,
so
I'm a convicted tax offender.
Convicted tax.
He lived with you at the time?
No, so he's the reason that I know that if
it's bad to fuck underage girls.
He definitely solidifies that.
No, he's the reason that I know that if a comic has a suitcase at a club, things are going real good or real bad.
That's either merch or a go bag.
Yeah, and he
it's either Dusty Slay with $1 million worth of merch.
Right, and he told this story that he was on tour with Mariah Carey, and he was just in between tours with her, so he was staying at a friend's, and then he found out that my girlfriend was gone for 2 weeks, and was just like, you got a spare bedroom? And it was just could not get rid of him.
Javon Pearson is the guy. I had my thing. I was already driving up to New York with Keith Robinson and Kevin Hart. We were coming, and I didn't come this one Tuesday or something because it was Javon Pearson had a show at a place called Boots and Bonnets
Oh,
in
yeah.
Chester, PA.
Yes.
It was an interesting crowd because it was black show, but it was like black bikers.
Yeah.
It was like a black biker bar. But I went there. It looks, the part is terrifying as hell.
It's on like a dirt.
Yep.
It's
underneath like underneath a bridge. Yeah. But here's the thing:
a dirt lot.
The
Is it a
crowd
place
weirdly,
that,
the crowd was weirdly good. Like they were alright. The crowd was kind of fine. So I went up the first weekend or the first week and then did good. And at the end of it, he did the money's a little short. Blah blah. Here's half the money.
Come back
next week. I'll give you the money plus the money I owe you. I'll pay you to do the show again. Okay. Third week, come back, dude. You don't even have to perform this one. Just come back and I'll give you your money next week.
Just come out to Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and then he was like, he's like, go on, I'll give you the money. So now it's like he's owing me like, I don't know, it wasn't that much,
$9?
it wasn't even that much money. Yes, it was all
Don't
said and
ask
done.
me to do math.
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm like, it's like 8 times 5.
What?
But this upwards of 8 times 5 appearances.
Jacob.
I got whatever. He was probably at this point owing me like $300 total. It wasn't crazy.
I could have done that.
But it was huge. It was huge to me, and I kept going back, and so now at this point, Keith and Kev are laughing at me for not coming to New York on Tuesdays to go get fucked over progressively
3
each week.
weeks in a row. Yeah.
And so I went down there with like a thing. I was like, then I'm playing video games with Kev at his house, and he gets a call from Javon Pearson who goes, "Hey, you want to come down to Boots and Bonnets tonight and do a set?" And Kev was like, "Nah, man." And he's on speakerphone with me when me and Kev are playing Madden. And he's like, "Nah, man, I heard the money down there is like ain't right all the time." He goes, "Dude, we got budget. It's fine." He goes, "I got the money." He was like, Michael Blackson's on, and I think JP Justice with time or something, or Jameek. And he was like, he started naming people, and Kev was like, "Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. There's too many people, man. Like the money might not be right." And he goes, "I'm telling you," he goes, he's just trying to say it because he knows I'm telling him the money's not right, but he's not saying that. And he offers up. He goes, "Hey, well, listen." He goes, "Just come do the show, man." He goes, "I'm telling you, if the money ain't right," he goes, "if I don't have the money in budget," he goes, I just won't pay Big J."
But he knows you're on the phone.
No idea I'm on the phone.
Oh.
So then I went down there furious, and I luckily, in my 3-week stint of being a cigar store Indian at that place, really nuzzled up to the security guy there, his security guy named Jerome. And that whole night ended up in like a parking lot of me like chasing Javon Pearson around.
No way.
And him trying to he goes, Jerome. He was like, Jerome, fuck him up, dude. And Jerome he was looking at me, and we were just both like, we've just talked for like 3 weeks in a row, and he's a very nice guy. And he was like, Javon, what's going on, man? Just like, give the boy his money, man. Like he just kind of turned and then Javon Pearson gave me like $300, and he was like,
"Wow,
I'll make a phone call tomorrow, and I'm going to end your career." And I'm like, "Like what? To who? Boots and Bonnets.
Yeah,
Boots and Bonnets will never have me again."
Will you ever back?
No, he got arrested for pedophilia.
That place had a metal detector.
He did keep his promise. He did keep his promise. So he's a man of his word.
He is.
That place had a metal detector that was clearly unplugged. like you tripped over the plug to get through the metal detector.
In the black circuit, dude, Kerr Metzger used to make me laugh all the time talking about like the black circuit when the credits people would give when they got them, especially the Philly guys. It'd be like, this next guy you saw play a chair in the background of an episode of Living Single. It was always like some kind of fucking like they were dancing in the background.
Yeah, you've seen him on that episode, Kicking It With Moesha. The last time I saw Javon, it had been years because of his tax problems. And I was going upstairs. There was like a Sunday mic at some pizza place on South Street, and I was popping in there. Like I had like some real show, and then I wanted to pop in there, and I heard somebody like singing Otis Redding, and that was like his big bit. I was like, "Is that fucking Javon? No way!" He gets off stage and he comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, man, I got that. If you want to," and I was like, "Oh man, I've been sober for like 3 years actually. Thanks." And he goes with no hesitation, doesn't skip a beat, throws his arms around and gives me a big hug. He's like, "Bro, I was fucking worried about you. Thank God." He was so concerned for my sobriety that he was about to
offer you coke. Yeah. That's good. You passed the test.
You remember Dave Edwards?
Of course.
From MTV?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember Dave Edwards very well. I have a actually 2 things with him.
That guy, he bitched me out of my apartment.
He just did Kerr Metzger also.
We were at the Cellar one night, and he's like, "Yo, I need a place to hang for a little bit. I got a flight and blah blah blah. Can I come back to you?" It's when I was living with Burr up on 97th Street. And he was like, "I need to come back to your place, hang out for a little bit. Is that cool?" And I was like, he wound up talking to me a couple hours before that. So I was like, "Okay." So we went back to the apartment, and he was just sitting on the couch. And I was like, "Well, listen, I got an early flight too, so you can leave when I leave." He's like, "All right, cool." So I went in the room. I woke up. It was like 5 a.m. or maybe 6. I was like, "All right, man, let's go." He's like, "Yo, my flight got canceled, so I'll let myself out." And
so
I
live here now.
I was like, "You can't stay." And he was like, "Nah, it's cool, man." And he literally like pushed me out of the door. "It's good. I'll let myself out. Dude, get there on your flight. You're going to miss your flight." And he just pushed me out the door and shut the door of my apartment in my face. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And I had to go. So I just left the dude in my apartment by himself.
He was known. He thought that Real World was going to be so good for him, dude. It made him a well-known like sexual assaulter is what came of that. in the era of even not all the woke shit, he was just pulling
Back
that
when he
blanket.
could still do that?
He was pulling the blanket off that girl Tammy, who became Kenny, somebody on the Nets. Kenny Anderson's wife. She ended up becoming, and then really even went back on like doubled down like what a piece of shit he was for pulling that blanket off her in her underwear.
Yeah.
But then he came out,
And that is not the place.
to
That is
me-
the Big Brother house. That is not where you want to
no.
be getting handsy.
But to me, he was on that, and he was in Half Baked at this point, and House Party 3. So then he came. My first thing with him was he would be at the Boston a bunch.
Yep.
When I was there, and I was like, nuzzling up enough as he was nuzzling up, wanting things that I was like, hey, this guy's fucking the guy from the real world. And hang on a little bit. I brought up one night the girl I lost my virginity to came up one night to see, like my world in performing in New York. I still live down in Philly.
Yeah.
And she wanted to go to a club afterwards. She wanted to go to Limelight. Still, it was open. And I was like, it was like a Monday or something. And I was like, I'll go through with you. You know what I mean? But I wasn't that excited to go. And he was like, oh, I love the Limelight. He offers to go with us, which no one asked for. We get out of a cab, and I mean this. We walk up like to the door, and they go, before you guys go in, so you know, it's gay night. And I'm telling you, when I turned around, I saw the soles of his shoes as he was diving headfirst into a cab to get away from there. I, of course, had to go in for 15, 20 minutes with this girl because I promised her I'd take
And you
her.
heard your favorite song, "You Spin Me Right Round."
But then with Metzger, we don't have to take a break anymore. We're good.
Oh, I'm looking at.
Take a break in 3 minutes.
We only have
We took
no,
a
we don't.
short one.
We took a break, buddy.
Take a break in 7 minutes at 50.
We have take the break energy from Jacob.
Is it a union thing?
Yeah, it's a union thing.
Well, sometimes we fuck up and we go too long.
We do fuck up sometimes. But then the other one was Dave Edwards came. He was, again, same thing. I didn't live up here yet, and Kurt lived in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, in a warehouse, basically, that was converted. You know, one of those
Yeah.
things, and he lived with a couple other artsy kids and him and his girlfriend.
Surrounded by Polish people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave Edwards goes, can I stay there for a little bit? He stayed for well over a month.
Yeah.
What?
Crashing on the floor, and then Kurt was like, every day he would be like, hey, he's like, kind of what's going on? He's like, oh, I'm working it out, man. And then Kurt said when he would come home, he would have random guys or girls at his house, making them watch House Party 3 on VHS.
No.
Yeah, somebody told me that he was going to be there when I got back. Like, and I opened the door like, hello, and thank God he wasn't.
Wow.
But he pushed me out of my apartment.
That's crazy.
And shut and I heard him lock it.
Dude, the squatter shit, the rules for squatters
crazy.
is so nuts that, like, if you just get inside a house, you're just allowed to stay.
Yeah, but you're a comic. You can't squat. It's fucked up.
I'm in my 8th month of trying to evict Christine.
Hey now.
It's taking forever. No, Richie also, and we have to have him back on another episode because he's got, again, the people that, again, I don't know when you became sober. I didn't think I knew you drinking, but I must have a little bit. At least
Yeah.
like, I was already gone from Philly, but we'd come back.
Were you a drinker
Dude,
or were you a
well,
drugger?
what do you got?
Was it both? Yeah, anything?
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
matter, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he ended up in these situations, dude. The two that I just love the stories
I know
on.
what you're gonna
Of course, you know the one, the late great Don Merrill, which is one of my favorite
we
things.
cannot say this guy's name and tell the story.
Oh right. Well, he's dead.
His son's not.
Hey, Luke, can you take that out of a live show?
No, you'll never.
sorry.
I tried to look him up online. You can't find him.
Hang on, mark it. Take it out right there, Lou.
I will change it next time he tells it. But then there was the other, and this one we can't tell because I don't even think he has modern radio. Kenny Ray Walker.
Come on.
Dude, was an older black guy in Philly who just also like, and again, I don't even remember necessarily that he did anything like nefarious. It was just he came back. He's just an older black dude, like an old black man with a lazy eye who like.
Now, to say his eye is lazy is such a disservice.
To this eye.
This thing, it's got independent suspension. Like, whatever Kenny's doing, it has no business doing. Like, this motherfucker is all over the room. He has no control. And his thing
He'd be a
always
great
when he
Navy
goes,
SEAL.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's either here or there. Like, it's just all over the
dude,
place. And
he
his first thing he always says when he goes on stage is, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm cross-eyed." Or no, I'm wow, well, yeah, cross-eyed was his thing.
Yeah,
He had lizard eyes.
Do we have how much time do we have?
5 minutes.
So I booked this thing with the worst promoter in all of South Jersey. This guy was so bad. He was so unreliable that once I was finally like,
Was it Dan?
Yeah, Dan at Rock Solid. Shout out,
Shout out, dude.
This guy stiffed
Dan
me
at
so
Rock
many
Solid.
times that by the time I actually was making some money, he was like, "Dude, I got $1,000 for you." Like,
Dude, you did that to me?
it's solid.
Joe DeRosa, this is one of Joe DeRosa's biggest laughs in the world. I can make him laugh every day if I just call him and say this. He came up to me at some point after he owed me his $1 zillion. Where he goes, "Hey man, I just want you to know I got things on track. I'm gonna get that money for you." I went, "Dan, get the fuck away from me, you asshole!" I just go, "Get away from me, you fucking asshole!"
So that's so funny. So yeah, he called me one time telling me he's got $1,000. He's like, "Here, this is all we got to do. Deposit $2,000 in my account, and if I show up, I'll give you back half." He's like, "Oh, it's like that?" Like, yeah, it's like that, motherfucker. But at any rate, so Kenny Ray Walker, me and him both booked this gig. We're living in Philly, and it's in Cape May, which is like 60 miles away. And he's like, all right, 8 o'clock show, I'll pick you up at noon. I'm like, dude, it's an hour and a half drive. He's like, all right, I'll pick you up at like 2. And I'm like, dude, no way. You know, like I finally get him up to like 4:30. It's like the latest that I can get him to leave.
If it's after 5, he's gonna fall asleep at home.
He shows up.
You should have went at noon just to see what you would have done.
Dude, he shows up in a Coupe de Ville, old school 85, something like that,
Nice.
right? And as soon as we get on the road, we're going so goddamn slow. It's unbelievable. And at that point, I realize I am on a 60-mile car ride with a severely cross-eyed driver.
He had to leave early to make it.
Yeah, so, I mean, and every sign, he couldn't read the signs because his eyes were so fucked up. Every sign.
Yeah, they had to pass for him to read them. He
Yeah.
had to get past them and read them in the rear view. He's like,
right.
slow down. What? That's what? A little late.
Yeah, so like every sign is like, is this our exit? Because I won't miss it. Is this our exit? Because I won't miss it. So on the way,
I know the last one was 32, but have we passed 33 yet?
so on the way back, it's this awful fucking show. On the way, so no, he was a musical guy, and his whole first 3 minutes was dancing. And this is the day.
It's Stevie Wonder
This is the days of CDs. He does every black dance, right? And this is the days of CDs. DJ hits it, and the fucking CDs keeps skipping. So he's skipping his dance. He's doing the Running Man, but he's trying to like pause it with it. And then finally, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, who likes music? So he just tries to get them to clap.
He's 60 something.
He's
easily.
60, yeah. And he starts dancing while white people are clapping, amazingly offbeat. It fizzles out. It was the day the music died, right? So he's just he wants to kill himself. He just ate such a dick. And then we're on the way back, and I told a story about Javon that Javon got mugged and passed out. And he wakes up in the car because he was the only one that passed out. He wakes up in the car, and so he doesn't get mugged. And he wakes up in the car, he's like, why's my head hurt? Why do I smell like pee? And as I hit the punchline of that story, boom, we get hit from behind by a Ford Explorer. Right. And we're doing 30 on the parkway, right? And like spin out, just this insane fucking accident. Luckily, we're both fine. And the cops come. And I get to see the cops give this guy the follow the finger test to see if he's drunk.
Took 5 cops.
Yeah, he's just telling the cop, like, I'm cross-eyed, officer. I'm cross-eyed. And I was like, it's true, sir.
I never stop seeing it. It never looks like it's moving. It's still in front of mine. I have panoramic vision.
He goes, it's true, sir. He's cross-eyed. And this happens 10 miles from my parents' house. And so we wind up spending the night at my parents' house. We're in twin beds in tighty whities. And my dad comes in to make sure that he's like, I think you guys should go to the hospital today, just get checked out, you know? And Kenny sits up in bed, like Bert and Ernie's it, and he goes, Mr. Redding, there's a comedian in the house now. And he looks at him and like looks at me, he's like, yeah, okay, you fucking asshole. It's like, yeah, we like Richie's comedy, our comedian's son.
Just so you know, everything going to be all right.
There's a comedian.
I know we have to go. Dude, Kenny Ray Walker, my favorite thing about him, he's an old man. Like, he's one of the guys who didn't have any self-awareness of how ridiculous he was. So whenever we'd come in a room, me and Metzger would go, Kenny Ray, fucking Walker, y'all. Kenny Ray, fucking. And he would just come in and start, like, he'd spin around and start doing, like, the dance moves and shit.
Well, he also filed an insurance claim because of that case, and he couldn't go back on stage and dance. So he now does comedy in North Carolina under an assumed name.
You gotta go check out Richie Redding.
Damn, Philly's great.
We'll be at Churchville Inn in Southampton, PA. Be sure to follow him at Richie Redding for clips and shows and dates. For corporate shows, corporate humor workshops, and content, go to funnier-than-you-are.com. Right now, Richie, great to see you, man. That was real fun, brother.
That was so fun.
We say RobertKellyLive.com this weekend. Chicago, as well as Wisconsin, Germantown, and Glendale. That's all this weekend for Bobby. RobertKellyLive.com. Get your tickets. My crowdwork special this weekend, everybody, in Denver.
Nice.
It's happening Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Come through. Get tickets. So the early show's sold out. And then, my Gold Mines with Kevin Hart's going to be on here tomorrow, part of our pre-record.
Tomorrow.
Enjoy. Thank you so much, Richie, for being here. We love you guys.
Have a great weekend.
Enjoy the pre-record. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. That was just a portion of our actual Sirius XM radio show.
If you want the whole thing, go to SiriusXM.com/bonfire for a special offer.
That's right. And go to BigJComedy.com and RobertKellyLive.com to check out our stand-up dates coming to a city near you.